Maureen has Macedo's mini acre, and Maureen has, even though I said sheep on her ad because my fingers because my fingers will type sheep no matter what. Maureen has beautiful alpaca. So I'm going to turn the screen over to Maureen and let let
Is that
her.
you or me?
That was me. I was making
Okay.
sure I didn't go over. So I'm going to
Oh,
put you on our spotlight. And there you are, Maureen. Good morning.
here I am. All right. Good morning. Well, I'm not going to take you back. I changed spots, so we are not back in my studio. Trust me on that. Yours looks good. Um, so we're here with our alpaca ranch. You know, I understand I tend to type alpaca instead of other things too. So I understand where you're coming from. So anyway, I was doing some updating while you were talking, Mary, because I noticed we sold a couple fleeces the other day, and I went, oh shoot, I need to update so people don't go to buy something that just got sold yesterday. Um, anyway, we had some ranch visitors. We're opening up a little bit.
Oh,
So
good.
anyway, yeah, kind of crazy. Yeah, our 4-H group, we're adhering to the state model, so no 4-H meetings in person. So grandson comes out tomorrow. He's actually my only member that joined this year because everybody else said, if we can't go out and play with them and do obstacles, we're not going to do it. But we currently have 87 alpacas and 5 llamas on the ranch. We just acquired actually 29 from a big ranch in Tenino, Washington. We used to have 2,700. So we bought his last 29, and we're down to 19 of the 29 that we bought. We've already been selling them. So we'll be adding some more blacks and grays to our fiber when we shear next month. Anyway, I might as well get started. Had to move things because it was going to rain and then it wasn't going to rain. So we'll start off with our dryer balls. So we have 2 ways to purchase on the Fiber Artist Marketplace, Macedo's Mini Acres. You can buy a set of 3, or you can buy a wholesale amount of 25. So we actually make and sell between 3,000 and 5,000 a year. We sell to other ranches and produced for other ranches as well. So it's all 16 colors. So when I talk about colors, I'm going to use the current Alpaca Owners Association color chart, and they recognize 16 colors. And then of course there's patterns. So this was a recent change 2 years ago, actually. So dryer balls come in all sizes and colors because the fiber felts differently. Dryer balls, if you're purchasing by 3, they are $11. If you purchase the wholesale amount, it's $75 for 25 dryer balls. So that's a great way to save some money if you're giving gifts or don't have time to do them yourselves. So moving along to rovings. Rovings, we have $4 per ounce on our grays. We have the medium silver gray. We have 20 ounces of that. We have a light silver gray, and there's 26 ounces of the light silver gray still in stock, and a dark rose gray. So these rovings, I use them for felting as well as for spinning. I've been doing a couple classes and doing some fun stuff with it. I'll show you an example of what you can do. Then we have also other rovings, and these vary in prices. I'd like to kind of move them along here. See, I'm going to move that one. I use some of that myself. So we have medium brown, 32 ounces, light brown, we've got 16 ounces, and holy smokes, we still have 9 pounds of the white roving left. So get in there and buy some. It's great for dyeing. In fact, I over dye. I'll show you some things too where we over dye some of the fiber as well. Okay, you move over here. This is grandson's llama. This is Keebler. So Keebler and Ethan have been state fair when they had state fair. They were the supreme exhibitors, and they've done a lot of, they're just a great team. And Ethan takes care of skirting. He's in high school now, 15. So he's coming out tomorrow, yay. We're starting to get our COVID shots taken care of so we can participate in some things. So, and Keebler, I think it's 35 or $40. I think Ethan's just trying to recover his shearing cost on that. Oh, the sun is coming out. Yeah, we could use the rain here. Um, okay, moving over to yarns. I label them with who the alpacas are that are in it. So we have Marley and Amelia. So this makes a, it's between a light fawn and a medium fawn color when you combine. That's a mother-daughter routine. Marley is a light fawn and Amelia is white with a couple brown spots. It's about 200 yards and the yarn is $20 a skein. This is mill spun yarn that I'm selling. Sunshine. Okay, Sunshine, again, she's slightly darker. Again, DK / sport weight. It's kind of in between Felix and Caramel. We have for a dark brown that's done in a little tighter twist. So this would be good for sock yarn or doing some lace, smoke and jazz. They're a dark brown. Moving over to our Surreys, and we added 3 more Surreys, and I also have a black Surrey stud now. So you'll be seeing that fiber for sale here pretty soon when I get tired of touching it. George, my husband's laughing at me. He goes, that's not going to happen. Jar Jar and King, that's our white combination. And again, this is lace weight. We also have a light fawn at Spice. This coming year, we'll be adding a couple other colors. We added a dark brown and 2 medium fawns to our herd and the black. So I'm really looking forward to those. Okay, and we also do have fleeces. Okay, so on the Surrey, and there's a couple more listed on the website. So we have Spice. And Spice, I have a Fiberlux machine. So in addition to having taken Ruth Elstead and Winnie Lebrecht's sorting classes, and I'm an Alpaca Owners Association spinoff judge, we do have a Fiberlux, so I do by machine as well. So Spice does have a lot of variation across her fleece. She goes from mid-side at 13 over to 23. Her average is 21. She has a 3.5-inch staple length. Okay, and there's 2.4 pounds in Spice's fleece, and that's $50 for Spice. We're going to be sharing again soon, so I want to see these moved along. Jeannie, one of our very favorites. Jeannie, this is a 3-pound fleece, 3 to 4-inch staple length. There are some sections that are 4.5 inches. Extremely fine fleece. It's more of a pencil lock, bright. It's a variation on her fleece from white to a very, very light fawn / beige. She's kind of in the middle there. But beautiful fleece, good luster. You can see the luster in it, I hope, on the screen. So, and again, that's $50. I'm trying to move these things along. Okay. 2 of the Wakaya fleeces that we have. We have my beautiful little Appy. This is Junebug. She's white with a few spots in her. She's about a 22 micron. Okay, so good for spinning. You can put it next to your skin. She's got good crimp, a few little brown spots here and there. If you're looking for something, you can either take the spots out and spin them separate, or you can put them in and get a little variation in your yarn. But she's got, let's see how much in this one. And again, that's, I think Junebug is $60 on that. And she's about 2.5 pounds. A lot of fluff, really light and fluffy. Brubeck. Okay, I really wish you could feel this. Brubeck is a dark brown. He's our stud. His fleece usually places in the Alpaca Llama Show Association. He usually places up in the top 3, even against the white. Good density, good crimp. He has a really interesting feel. It's a very springy feel, very buttery feel to it. And Brubeck's fleece is again $60. He's got, I think, 3.5 pounds I'm looking at this right. This is one of his show fleeces I haven't finished with. So that's Rubeck. Those are about the only two fleeces I've got left. Like I said, I had somebody come out to the ranch yesterday and buy up a bunch. So that's those. I want to show you something that we've done. This is my yarn room, so forgive it. But this, when I was talking about what I was doing with some of the rovings. Okay, this is all 100% alpaca. This was using grade 2. So been doing this reversible scarf. So you can see you can do this or you can spin with the roving. So that was with the
And
natural roving.
is that felted, Maureen?
This is felted. Yes, this is wet felted. Been taking a couple classes online because I got bored and I don't have enough projects to do. You know how that is, everybody who's watching. Never enough projects, he says sarcastically. So this is wet felted. I really wish you could feel it. This is only about this is less than 2 ounces on this. So it's very, very soft. And I just wanted to see what I could do with straight rovings where other people were using merino and silk. So still need to clean it up. I just finished it the other day, but makes a pretty table runner. It's a nice lightweight scarf also. So kind of a fun thing to do with the rovings if you don't feel like spinning. Bats. Larry has a huge carder. We've seen a demo of it, I think a couple times ago. So it was one built back in the 1800s. So I like to dye it. He likes to make bats out of it. And then we do all kinds of things. So this is the rainbow bat. It's got purples. Our bats run between 3.2 to a little over 4 ounces. They're all the same price. They are all, let's see, $12 plus shipping. So pretty good price. And again, you can spin, you can felt with it, all kinds of fun things. So some of them do have, we had a college student out who's a performing arts major, and she was bored. So she came out and masked up. And so some have a little bit of bling in it because Kyler loves bling, typical kid, kind of like your 4-H and FFA students, Mary. Okay. Then we have white.
They do love to play with the colors.
They do. And this over here is what I call berry. It's a variation on this. This was actually a medium fawn that I overdyed. I was trying to explain to people that you can overdye the darker, the fawns, the browns, and it just gives you a rich color. So there is variation in it, the way I dyed it. I think I've got 4 bats left. So a few little spots in there. Goes beautifully if you want to spin it. It makes a beautiful variegated color, almost a camouflage type effect. Felting it, oh gosh, the richness in this and the softness on this, it's just amazing. I'm just so in love with the alpacas, obviously, having as many as we do. So that's kind of where we are at with things. I know I'm running ahead of time. No, oh geez, I haven't taken hardly any time at all, have I? So
Oh, you have plenty of time. Show us your farm.
okay, I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna walk out here and show you some of the critters here. Well, we should go over and see the babies, huh? Let's go do that.
I kind
So,
of have barn envy now.
oh yeah. Well, if you want to have envy, don't envy us our carport. That's not on purpose. I'm gonna put, witches' feet under there. We were had a trucking company moving something and they misjudged. They were watching the front of the truck, big semi, and not watching the back of the trailer. So they kind of took out the carport with our car underneath it. So that's been our exciting week. So always fun. Yeah. So anyway,
That's kind of a big whoops.
yeah, the guys. Yeah, it was rather interesting to come out and see that. I was standing about 10 feet away from it when it came down. Okay, so these are last summer's babies. Hi, girls. This is Jackson. He's our special needs boy, as you can tell by looking at him. Little sweetheart. He's actually from another ranch. We just keep an eye on him. He's actually 15 months old. about 40 pounds, has some health issues, but we just baby him along, and he's a great PR guy when he's not covered in everything. That's Sissy coming up, September surprise. Hi there, girl. So she's the dam of Boudini here. So our little ones are getting ready to be weaned. Hi, Boudini, what you doing? She's named after our granddaughter's nickname is Boudini. And then this is my little blue-eyed pinto. Absolutely gorgeous fleece on our little girls in here. You gonna let me show off? No, probably not. Hi, Molly. Okay, what you doing, baby? Hi. You're live, sweetheart. This is Autumn coming up. She's a boarder here. Little sweetheart. Hi, baby. No, you're not gonna behave. Okay. They know when the camera's on, the ears go down, they run away, all kinds of fun things. So anyway, those are the babies. And no, our blue-eyed alpaca, she's a pinto. There's different genes that make the blue eyes. They're not all deaf. That's kind of a misconception people have. So we have a couple blue-eyed whites. The nice thing about blue-eyed whites is their fiber stays really fine throughout their whole lives. Is that gene that's tied in. I was a genetics major in college, so I love this stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna walk out here. We have 10 acres. Okay, we got a fiber shed grant, carbon beneficial grant, to come out and trim our trees. And then they chipped up the tree trimmings. We're composting it with the alpaca and llama manure. I'm gonna spread that on the property. So that's what we're working on right now. Larry's turning it over. So we have some compost rows. Larry
And
turned it over.
Maureen, this
Yes.
is Mary. So we here are the Inland Empire Fiber Shed, but some people might not know what a fiber shed is. So tell them a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit about the fiber shed and the grant that you got. That's fabulous.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I forget about that. Yeah, I'm with the Northern California Fiber Shed. Fiber Shed is kind of a grassroots organization. Mary, chip in wherever you like to. We have Shave 'em to Save 'em for some of the breeds. It's trying to implement all product grown and used within, what is it, 100 miles, something like that. So any of the dyes I use and declare as fiber shed, I have to grow myself. And so I have madder root, I've got Osage orange, I've got all kinds of products. We save the avocado pits from guacamole, all that good stuff. So lots of different breeds. Our fiber shed grant, carbon beneficial, is one that we applied for. It's through fiber shed. And what it's doing, it is trying to sequester the carbon in the soil and the fleece of the alpacas. So, sorry, the almonds are starting to bloom. We figure with our grant, we are actually saving the amount of carbon that would be equivalent to 100 cars on the road. So, and improving the soil. They came out to get the grant. They came out, did soil sample studies. Sorry. They're doing studies of the soil, the poop in the soil, so to speak, because we have really sandy soil. So the nutrients really leach out quickly, and we flood irrigate. So that's sequestering the carbon from the manure, from the chippings, back into the soil to help improve our pastures. Our trees provide shade in the summertime. We've got a few shelters out in the pastures for the critters. We haven't scooped poop out here. Whoever tells you that alpacas only poop in one location are talking about the boys. Girls tend to poop in different piles. They're advertising that they're available to any males in the area. That's an old thing. But anyway, the fiber shed grant, we got a little one. It's going to take us about a year to complete it because it takes that long to for everything to compost down. Hi, baby. What you doing, Patches? Okay, and that's one of my new Surreys there. So I'll show you on the compost rows over here. I call that one with white face. Her nickname is Skeletor. She just looks like the old He-Man guy. She's a sweetheart though. Okay. So this is one of the compost rows we've been working on for a while. So this is one of our older ones. We've been spreading the compost out in the pastures and on our irrigation lines for a while, but you can see it's starting to break down. The wood chips are going to take a while to break down. We need some more rain or we're going to have to add water to get that composting. I take temperature probes to try and make sure that it's composting at the proper temperature. And then Larry's got the big rows there. Our neighbor's got winter oats all around, 3 sides on this side. And then across the street, we've got almond orchards, probably about 90 or 100 acres there. So we're always good as far as we don't worry about fires. We don't worry about that sort of thing because we have irrigated pastures all around us. We just get the smoke. So these are the girls over here. Those are the contributors. We have girls on this side of the ranch. It's 10 acres. Girls on this side, boys on the other side, because boys will be boys. And there's a couple of them running up. They run so funny. She's figuring that there must be better food back here than what Larry gave her up front. Let's see, what else? Mary, you want to add anything about Fiber Shed? I'm
Uh,
rambling.
well, no, I'm really glad you brought up Fiber Shed, and I posted a link to the Fiber Shed. So anybody who's listening, wherever you are, there are fiber sheds now all over the United States. There are some in Canada, there are some in Europe. And each one has different projects, different focus, but they do focus locally, usually around 200 miles around the fiber shed. Ours here in Inland Empire in Southern California is a little bigger because our counties are huge. So we cover really 3 counties. And our focus is to support our local farmers, be they sheep, alpaca, llama, and to be looking at because we are high desert, to be looking at water conservation, um, regenerative farming of the farmland, and how to keep these herds um, and still be ecologically sound in an area, especially in our high desert where water is at a premium. So our focus is farm support, but I know that the Northeast is very heavily into textiles.
Mhm.
And there's a whole dyeing fiber shed with natural dyes. Amy Dufour, who a lot of people know from the natural dye community. So each one has its own special focus, and everybody should look theirs up and see what's going on in your area. They're really fabulous. And I
Yeah,
love looking at all your your alpacas. They're
thank
adorable.
you. Yeah, this llama here, you won't see her fiber in anything I sell because that's Polly. She's 27 years old. She actually belonged to a friend of my mother's when they had been in llamas, and when they retired into the city, they had 3 llamas that they couldn't sell because they were too old. And Polly's just our resident guard llama. She just kind of watches out for everybody. So, yeah, and if you're wondering about the ear tags, this is our new group from Washington. Dr. Barnett originally had 2,700 alpacas, so he didn't name them all. They're all ear tagged, and while we're learning their names, um, we're keeping track of the tags just to keep them on to make sure we've got everybody labeled. Yeah, the Northern California fiber shed, we also have an indigo. We do community indigo as well. So I raise my own. Actually, I raise woad. That's my favorite, and it's a weed. I just have to keep it out of the pastures. Um, it's my beehives over there. They're looking a little weak right now. I have roses and lavender around them, so I do raise the bees. Lavender I use to help keep moths and bugs away from my critters, so they serve a dual purpose there. The roses, I use some of those for dyeing. I got some of the really rich colors. And it's kind of interesting, the chemistry of it. I have to dye frequently using distilled water because our well water is pretty hard. So it tends to sadden or make darker or not as bright, some of the colors I use. So the joys, you have to know your water, know your chemistry when you're dyeing. Um, but I prefer the so-called natural dyes for the most part, although the rainbow dye, I did use commercial with that. Um, the berry dye, that was done with a combination of some natural dyes that I traded with some people. So I can't declare it a fiber shed because some of the dye material came from outside my area, but it was natural. So you can see our pastures are looking a little, we're starting to get some green showing through right now, but usually by, oh gosh, April or May, um, the girls and the boys cannot keep up with the pastures. So we have to go out and mow it, which is a good problem to have. We understand that for sure. Um, that's the infamous container that had to be moved. So taking out the carport. So barn envy, that's Bunny Barn. This was a 1920s farmhouse and barn, milk barn. So it's always in need of something, like most houses, I guess.
I can relate to that. Our house was built in 1890,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it
Wow.
always needs something, but we don't
Yeah.
have a lovely barn like you do.
Yeah. It's pretty nice. We're pretty happy with it. It's kind of an interesting one because it's got a lot of different sections to it. But each section, the old milk barn and hay section, that's where Larry's got his carters, and I store the fleeces.
Well,
So
thank you so much for showing us your farm. It's
you're
absolutely
welcome.
fascinating. I love to see everybody's farm, and then when we see the animals, the fleeces come more alive to me.
They do. And, I'm always evaluating out there. We feed twice a day, and I'm usually out there with them, weather permitting. My felting area and fiber processing area is actually on one side of the barn, so I can see the boys' side of the ranch. So they come up and help me sometimes. So I let them roam around with me. But yeah, so that's pretty much our ranch. I don't know if the next person wants to go a little early or what,
Well,
but
I see
um,
Shelley sitting there looking very ready. Thank you again, Maureen, so much for showing us all of your lovely alpacas and their fleeces. I think
you're welcome.
I'm looking at them and I really want to take that lovely brown and the piebald and spin and ply them together. I just am
Oh,
sitting
that would
here.
be
I'm already planning things.
I know, I know. I do that. They laugh at me at shearing time because I go, put that fleece over in that building. And they go, what? And Larry goes, oh, she's keeping that for herself.
Oh, yes. That happens with fleeces, at my house too, but
Yeah, yeah,
there is a point at which
exactly, exactly. So anyway, thank you
Okay.
all for listening. Thank you, Mary, for moderating.
Oh,
If
you
you've seen
bet.
anything you like, and there's more listed on the site as well, go to Fiber Artist Market, Macedo's Mini Acre. I'd love to be able
Thank
to
you
put some of this in your hand.